You ever have one of those days where all you want to do is reclaim a little peace, and the universe decides it's the perfect time to test your sanity? Yeah, this was one of those. It started out like a postcard perfect Saturday in Oak Haven. The sun was warm, the air was crisp, and my only mission was simple Operation Get That Damn Jacuzzi Off My Porch. It'd been sitting out back like some kind of ancient sea beast ever since I moved in an off-white monstrosity that did nothing but collect dead leaves, bird poop, and the occasional confused squirrel. It was time. I had my tools laid out like a surgeon's sawzall, pry bar, sledgehammer gloves. I was dressed for battle gray tracksuit, beat-up sneakers, safety glasses on standby. I queued up some old-school hip-hop and got to work. Man, that first cut into the fiberglass beautiful. Dust flying, sun shining porch, already feeling 10 square feet bigger. Then came the shriek, not from the saw, from over the fence. "What in God's name do you think you're doing?" Earbuds out, turned around, and there she was, Beatrice Coington, my neighbor. 60-something going on eternal menace. She had on this loud as sin floral swimsuit, a visor the size of a beach umbrella, and an expression that could curdle paint. She was leaning so far over our shared fence, I swear her dentures almost fell in my yard. "You're destroying the neighborhood," she screeched, pointing a coral-painted claw at me like I'd just set fire to her begonias. The noise, the vibrations. My porcelain poodles are trembling. I tried Lord knows I did to stay cool. "It's just the hot tub, Beatrice. I'm getting rid of it. Should be gone by Monday." "Wrong move." Her eyes narrowed into little hate-filled slits. "You people move in and think you can do whatever you want. No respect." And there it was. You people. That lovely little phrase that always sneaks in when the mask slips. I dropped the pleasantries. "Beatrice, I'm on my property. It's Saturday morning. I'm doing legal work on my own house." She gasped like I'd slapped her and stormed off, but not away. "No." Seconds later, I heard her gate unlatch, and before I knew it, she was on my lawn, in my face, smelling like chlorine and rage. "You're a menace," she shrieked. "I'm making a citizen's arrest." That's when she poked me. Right in the chest. I didn't move. Just took a breath, stepped back, and said, "Get off my property. Now." She froze for a beat, then her face twisted into this smug little smile. "You don't have to call the police," she whispered. "I already am." She stepped back, pulled out her phone, and dialed 911 right there on my lawn. What followed was a performance so ridiculous it deserved an Oscar. She hunched over like a wounded sparrow, voice trembling, eyes darting like prey, describing me, a 6'2" black man, as large, aggressive, and threatening an elderly woman. I stood there holding a broom, absolutely floored. I hadn't even raised my voice. But she was crafting a narrative, one where I was the villain, and she, the fragile suburban flower, was in danger. It wasn't just a lie, it was a weapon, and it was aimed directly at me. So I did the hardest thing I've ever done. I stayed still, said nothing, showed nothing, just breathed, because I knew any reaction would feed her story. 10 minutes later, the cops pulled up. 2 of them. One looked bored, the other looked like he wanted a reason. Beatrice met them at the curb with her full damsel in distress act. "That man assaulted me." I stepped off the porch, hands visible, voice calm. "Officers, I didn't touch her. She trespassed and poked me." One officer, Russo, looked ready to cuff me on the spot. The other, Miller, seemed more measured. He asked for both sides. Beatrice spun her tale. Vibrations, porcelain, shoving, near death by azalea bush. Miller looked at me. "You got proof you didn't touch her." That's when I remembered the cameras. 2 of them. One pointing at the porch, one at the yard. Captured everything in 1080p, including her storming in, poking me, and lying to 911. But I didn't tell them, not yet. Because I wanted her to double down, file a false police report, put it all in writing. I needed the lie to be official so I could burn it down later. Miller decided not to arrest anyone. He filed a report, gave us both a warning, and left. Beatrice stormed back inside, muttering about speaking to the mayor. I stood there on my now half-empty porch, adrenaline still buzzing, but a plan starting to form. I called my brother Leo, a defense attorney with zero patience for bullies and a mind like a bear trap. Told him everything. He listened quietly, then said, "Good. Don't show the footage, not yet. Let her overplay her hand." Then we hit back hard. And we did. That week I started digging. Into HOA bylaws, into public permit records, into everything about Beatrice Coington and her beloved 1427 Sterling Drive. And oh boy, did I find gold. Hidden behind a curtain of cypress trees was a backyard shed with flower boxes and a shingled roof. Except it wasn't a shed. It was a full-blown, unpermitted guest house. And she wasn't just using it for crafts or storage. No, she was renting it out. Quiet little Airbnb listings under a fake name. 5-star reviews. Private garden retreat. Illegal as hell. And the irony, my open porch with a fire pit would have had a clear view of it. That's why she snapped. It wasn't the noise. It was the exposure. Meanwhile, I documented everything, her trespass, her chest poke, even the night she snuck over and sprayed something on my lawn, killing a patch of grass. I found old footage of her measuring my grass with a ruler. Dead serious. And then, like fate had perfect timing. Arthur Henderson, my elderly neighbor, came forward. Quiet guy, retired, teacher kind soul. Turns out Beatrice had harassed him for years. Complained about his wind chimes, his cat. Tried to get his oak tree cut down. He was done being quiet. Together we built a file, a thick, undeniable case. When the HOA hearing rolled around, we came with everything: photos, footage, Arthur's letter, and the cherry on top, proof that her shed was a hidden business. The board didn't even argue. She was ordered to remove the illegal structure or face daily fines, given a cease and desist for harassment, and put on HOA probation, meaning she couldn't file another complaint without board approval. Her weapons were gone. She'd tried to use the system to ruin me, and we used it to dismantle her. She vanished after that, barely came outside. And a few months later, her house went up for sale. And me, well, I finished that porch, got my fire pit, invited Arthur over for barbecue. Folks started dropping by, neighbors who'd always kept their heads down, finally breathing easy. My porch became the heart of the block. You know, I set out to take back my space. Instead, I took back the whole damn neighborhood. And I gotta say, justice doesn't always show up in a courtroom. Sometimes it starts with a sawzall and ends with a community. So tell me, if you've ever had a neighbor like Beatrice, what did you do? And more importantly, was it worth it? Drop your story in the comments. Let's talk about justice.